like make reference to what we're talking about, consolation, how God, how in the beginning of a person's spiritual life or in the interior life, God grants lots of consolation. You pray, you get it. You do. It's just like you say, like you're like a child, but afterwards, it's no longer the same. And it's like, because I try to explain it this way. Sometimes when God grants those things to you all the time, some people begin to confuse God with the consolation.
That's true.
So anytime I pray, I feel the sweetness and the holiness and the presence. And when the sweetness and the holiness is there, therefore God is present. When the sweetness and the holiness is not there, God is not present. And God begins to tell you, I have to teach you that even when that is not there, I'm still present. So the second stage of training is learning to realize that even when you no more feel the consolations, it doesn't mean that God is not there.
That really strikes me, because I think I see young adults really, and it's very interesting. Young adults these days who come to Christ, they have quite powerful consolations and experiences. To be able to come out of a world that is quite atheistic or agnostic in this part of the world, and I can think of people who have it's through study, consolations through learning the truth, or consolations like in prayer. I know a young adult who was a drug dealer, and God just got him, showered him with his love, and all of his addictions were cured like that. It's just very funny, like you just meet all these people. But I think I went through that. For me, it was more like the truth and studying history and everything. But I found that after a while, God was no longer kind of feeding me all of that. It kind of went through this dryness, and I had to just rely on faith rather than sight necessarily. It really resonates with me.
I've heard that be likened to the honeymoon phase of the relationship. Right?
Exactly.
So in the beginning, God will shower you with love and gratitude and everything. But then as time goes on, like any relationship, you may not see as these obvious signs, but He's already shown you. He already shows you how much He loves you by calling you. So, I think it's what He's trying to show you. Like over time, there's going to be a point where you may not see anything, but I'm still there. I've never left you.
Sure.
In the spiritual life, it has a name. It's called the dark night. The dark night. And St. John of the Cross, one of our Carmelite saints, they talk about that as well. The experience of, not feeling the presence of God, but yet realizing that God is still there. And he gave some categories. Says, how can a person be sure that this what I'm experiencing is really the dark night? That is not because it could be the result of sin. It could be the result of not taking you could feel lack of consolation because you your life seriously. You're living a life of sin. But he said when those things are not present, but yet you still feel that God is not present, but yet you want to be with Him at the same time. That's an indication that what you may be going through, perhaps an experience of the dark night.
And that comes after that first period of like consolation and conversion, honeymoon.
Honeymoon period. They have to start eating the bones. no more the meat.
I want to read more St. John of the Cross. His writings are absolutely phenomenal.
And you have loads of examples of people who went through, aridity or the dark night in the scriptures. Think about an Elijah. Went into the wilderness and he even wanted to die. Lord, take my life. I'm not ready to continue this anymore. So that was a very difficult time for him. Think about Jesus himself in the Garden of Gethsemane. That he prayed, Lord, if it be your will, let this cup pass by. But remember, he returned to the Lord's Prayer. He thought, not my will, but yours be done. And that's what helps us in times of the dark night. The remembrance that no matter what, Lord, let your will be done. But unfortunately, many young people, get discouraged at that point and even, just give up and say, no, I can't continue anymore because I don't think this is me. I should be going through this. It's all complaints and anger. In fact, some people, I'm upset with God. I don't want to do anything. But at that same time, God is there. It's only if we just turn to Him and say, oh Lord, let your will be done.
I heard an analogy once. It's like it's a bit like you have the tide coming in and out, and you're pushing a boat out. When the tide's out, it's harder to push.
Yeah.
And then when the tide comes in, it's easier. It's like constellation, desolation, or whatever, or dryness. But then a dark night, it's like the ocean's gone, like, and you're in a desert. I just have to keep going.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's gonna come back. Yeah. So
Exactly.
it's
I want to say something about when you were talking about the experience of Jesus as it relates to the dark night. When Jesus was saying, "Why, Lord, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani? Why have you forsaken?" He was actually quoting Psalm 22, which was a psalm of faith and trust in God at a time of grave difficulty. So it's also good to look at it that even at his most difficult moment, he still kept his faith and trust in God as well.